Well, today we're going to Chicago and we're going to introduce you to a top agent there in the Chicago market, Anne Rossley, and she's with Baird and Warner. So today she took some time aside from her busy schedule to come in here and talk with us so she can give us an update on what the market looks like in Chicago. And we do have an 800 number here listed down below. So if you want to get in touch with her, it's just one call. We'll also have a link down in the description below. So if you want to fill that out, interested and get connected with Anne, we can make that happen. So welcome, Anne. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks for having me today, Mark.
You bet. You bet. So, part of this channel is we just like to get people acclimated to the agents that work in the market and let them give some knowledge as far as what's happening in the market, what the market stats are showing, those kind of things, so that they can get an overall view if they are considering either buying or selling in the market. And of course, you're handling the great Chicago area. And when we decided to start this channel, I went in and put in one of these requests in Chat GPT and said, hey, what are the top selling and moving places in Chicago? Was it the either number one or two spots? So I think it's very appropriate that we have this short interview with you.
Well, yes, I'm delighted to be a part of it and looking forward to helping.
Well, good, good. So let's just start here. Typically, we just want to introduce the agents so that the viewers watching can get a little bit of background information on you. So, what's your story?
Well, so I have lived in Chicago almost 40 years, which is exactly the amount of time that I've been married to my husband, Tom. And I've been in real estate for over 30 years. And I'm in the downtown Chicago area. Basically, that means the communities along the lakefront. Yes, you have my sales map that'll show where I do business. But basically, if you say downtown Chicago area, Lincoln Park up to Edgewater, South Loop, that's where I do business. And I'm with Baird and Warner, which is the top independent company in the city, family owned and run for 170 years, and a real impact in making things happen here in Chicago. So
Sounds like you all have a really good track record as far as being around for a long time. And I know being part of Leading RE, Ann and I actually met at a Vegas convention about 4 or 5 years ago. So it was good to get connected to her. And fast forward, here we are today doing this. So let's talk about a little bit about the market factors and what makes yours unique or special, maybe compared to something else, maybe outside of Chicago or New York or whatever.
right. Well, obviously, we're not on the coasts. We are inland, but it's kind of an interesting thing. It looks like an ocean, Lake Michigan, and we're right on it. And it's a great source of fresh water. We're out of a lot of the things people are concerned about today, the fires, the earthquakes, the tornadoes. We're pretty much a safe area to be living in. So that's the first thing to think about. Affordability is a big deal, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But there are some things about Chicago that are so special, like the architecture. We're known for being the seat of where great architecture happened, the skyscraper, Mies van der Rohe, all kinds of great things in Chicago. We also have an amazing park system. We have amazing foods. It's not just pizza and hot dogs, folks. We've got wonderful neighborhood joints, fabulous ethnic food, also our share of Michelin star and Bib Gourmand restaurants. I'll be real quick because I could go on about Chicago forever, but the diversity in the neighborhoods is fabulous. Waterfront recreation. You can have sailboats, you can have motorboats, you can do all kinds of things. Plus, we've got the Chicago River and the Riverwalk, which is so spectacular. And it's a robust economy. We've got a full band of economic options. And so it's made the city strong throughout history and will continue to be so.
That's really exciting. I've been to Chicago several times, and I just love being down on the river. I can't remember. Is that near? Is it called Miracle Mile or Magnificent Mile?
Magnificent Mile, right?
Yep, yep,
Magnificent Mile meets the river.
yep.
Yes.
What do you see from a buyer standpoint? Who's coming into your market? Where might they be coming from? That kind of thing.
Well, we have them coming from everywhere, but we have a few hot spots. Interestingly enough, for every 100 people leaving Chicago to go to like a California, 98 are coming in from California. to Chicago. So there's a great movement that way. We also have New York City in the East Coast, Boston. A lot of people from Detroit decide that the economic environment here is really strong and they'd like to be in a bit bigger city. I personally have experienced some people who are leaving New York who want the big city type environment, but we are a fraction of the cost.
I think that market activity is different in every market. And I know I'm based here in Sarasota, Florida, and our market has slowed somewhat. And, we have a lot of things that are going on in politics and everything. But I
Mhm.
was thinking maybe you could share with us a little bit what your market conditions are in your area and how you feel that sales are actually going.
Well, and we're filming this in April of 25. We have seen, we had a weird thing go on with COVID where people initially thought they wanted to leave downtown and leave condos, but it's rebounded and gotten bigger and better than it was before COVID. In the last 18 months, what we've seen is this. Uh, Movement is very strong in all market segments: first time buyer, move up buyer, and luxury. And as of today, we are seeing historic lows in inventory. We are seeing prices continue to rise. In the entry level and move up buyers, we are seeing multiple offers. And the luxury, so, and when we say luxury, we're talking over $1.5 million and up $5 to $9 million is not unusual. In that marketplace, we're only seeing 6 months worth of inventory, which is really strong. Historically, luxury can be in the 20 months sometimes. So it's a very brisk market right now.
Well, actually, that's good to hear from our perspective because our market is not in that condition. We're a little bit slower. Things are on the market a little bit longer. So when we think about the hot areas, popular neighborhoods, I mean, I know when I'm thinking about our area, there's certain areas that are very desirable. People just can't wait to get into. So what do you see from your standpoint for the Chicago market?
Well, we are seeing as you get close to the city, that's where it's hot and that's where people want to be. And so it would be the Loop, the West Loop, near North, which includes Gold Coast, River North, Streeterville, and then Lincoln Park and Lakeview are the hot ones. But, the city is very strong and robust. So when I say Edgewater is a really hot neighborhood as well with Andersonville, picture it's on the lakefront, but like at the end of where Lakeshore Drive ends. But it's, 15 minutes from downtown and much larger lots and more affordable than if you were in, for example, Lincoln Park.
Sounds like location, location, location.
Right. You know
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that one. Do you find more single family or condos, or what do you see as the market demand for the types of homes?
We have demand for everything. And as mentioned before, everybody loves being in condos and they also have a need for single family homes. It just really depends. Just to give you a sense, the median sales price for a single family home in the lakefront neighborhoods is 1,300,000. Now that'll vary from Lincoln Park, where the median sales price is 1,800,000, to a little bit outside where you'll see that it's more like $1 million. Now, that said, if you travel up to Sauganash and Avondale, some of those areas, you can get a single family home in the $700,000 range. And that would be a median sales price for those neighborhoods. In terms of condos, the median sales price is 400,000. So it's a fraction of what you would expect to spend on the east or west coasts. But we have everything from studios to 4 bedrooms. We have vintage, all kinds of options. So there is not one particular housing stock, condo or single family, preferred over the other. It's really dependent on the individual and their needs.
Got it. Just a side note here, do you see the condo fees rising because of insurance? In Florida, that's an issue because, I
Right.
mean, I know every state's different. I didn't know how it might be affecting the Chicago market for condos.
Yeah, we really don't see that happening. We don't see big increases in insurance costs as being a factor with assessments. One thing to consider with assessments is we have different housing stock. We have like what we call walk-ups, where it's a self-managed building on a 25 by 125-foot lot, and there will be three condos. They're self-managed. They will have assessments of only $250 to $350 per unit. And in that, you can get a 12 to 1700, maybe even 1800 square foot unit. And it makes condo living more affordable without the assessments. Now, if you want to go into a high service luxury building, then you're looking at assessments that can be around $1 per square foot.
Got
Is a
it.
good
Got
estimate.
it. As far as the things that you might give somebody an advice that they're coming to Chicago for the first time, what would be some good advice?
So I would say really think about what you want your lifestyle to be and find the neighborhood that works for you, because uh, you can live very close to the lakefront with a view of Lake Michigan and feel like you're on vacation every day, but that's going to be higher on a price per square foot basis. Or if you really like green spaces and a neighborhood leafy feel, then you can live little bit farther out from the loop, have a little bit more commute, and find a really lovely home. Public transportation in the city is so easy to manage and makes life simple. Depending on where you live, you can actually go carless. Although at the same time, it's so easy to drive around the city. But just take advantage of the culture that's here. We have a world class symphony, the Art Institute, theater, ballet, uh, festivals. There's just so much to do here.
Now, do I remember I came up for some conferences at
Mhm.
the big convention center there in Chicago, but do I remember that there's a lot of underground travel, like between buildings that you don't even have to go up to the street level if it's in the middle of winter?
Yes, that's exactly right. In fact, I'm listing a property next week where the pedway connects directly to the building. So somebody could walk underground to the city county building. They can go over to Mariano's and get their groceries, all without going outside.
That's pretty neat. I really like that. It's like, wow, there's a whole underworld here.
Yes, there is.
We're going to wrap this up, but I would like to get one last question in, and that would be, what do you think that would be a surprise for people that might not know about your area?
The beauty of it, every time I bring an executive in who is, transferring, moving in, and hasn't been to Chicago, they're astounded by how breathtaking the city is. So imagine 15 miles of lakefront right on Lake Michigan with biking trails, walking trails, and it's all park. There is nothing commercial on the other side of Lakeshore Drive, and inside it's just gorgeous. And the harbors and the river is so beautiful. One would think we wouldn't have such natural beauty, but we do.
That's pretty neat. That really is. I think that getting people acclimated to agents um, before they get to a community or someone that is currently living there and they're thinking about, do I sell my home? Who's a good agent to use? So just being able to introduce people to you, I think that it will be a really good thing for them if they decide that they're either wanting to look to buy or to sell in the Chicago market, that they have somebody that they can reach out to and have a great relationship and be in good hands. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule today, especially if the market is as hot as you say it is. I'm sure that it's very difficult to schedule these, but I really appreciate you taking time to sit down and talk with us today.
My pleasure, Mark. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. So, if you want to get in touch with Anne, you got an 800 number down here in the column, and we also will put a link in the description below. You could be moving out of Chicago into Chicago or anywhere else in the United States or globally, and we'll be glad to help connect you with a qualified, seasoned professional agent in those areas. So, this is Mark Bamig with Michael Saunders and Company here in the Sarasota area, bringing you Relocation is Your Move. Thanks.